Okay, so let's go on to this now. Plus one का ये है हमारा, we were doing the S block. Our next topic, which is abnormal behavior of lithium. Now we already know why lithium that is going to show abnormal behavior. Lithium shows abnormal behavior due to the following reasons. In fact, every first element of each group that is going to show the abnormal behavior. Whether we are doing it in plus one, we are doing the S block, we are doing the P block, we are doing the whatever we are going to do in plus 2. So all of you have to remember that the first member of every element of every group that is going to show abnormal behavior due to these reasons which we are doing over here. The first part, which is going to be smaller size. Okay? The second reason is high ionization energy. Third reason is high value of electronegativity. The fourth reason is absence of vacant d orbitals. Okay, so these are the reasons. Now we already know that if the ionization energy that is going to be high, the electropositive character of lithium that is going to be less, as a result of which lithium that is going to be the least metallic amongst all the elements of this particular group. Right? Now non-availability of d orbitals means that when we are looking at the electronic configuration of lithium, the electronic configuration that is equal to helium 2s1. This is the electronic configuration of lithium. Now in case of the second subshell, there is only S and P present. There is no D present. So therefore there are no empty D orbitals which are present, owing to which it will not be able to extend its valency like rest of the members can easily do. Okay? So these are the reasons over here. So let's just see, okay, one more point, that in case of lithium specifically, when we are talking of, it is going to have strong metallic bonding. Now because of strong metallic bonding, the reactivity of lithium that is going to be less. Otherwise, you know that when we were doing the chemical properties of the alkali metals, we saw that the alkali metals are highly reactive as they catch fire even when exposed to air and water. Over here, lithium that is going to have very less reactivity. The reason behind this is that it has strong metallic bonding amongst its atoms. Okay, so let's go on to the differences in properties of lithium with respect to rest of the members of the family. Differences in properties of lithium. The first difference which we are going to study is that it is more harder and lighter than other alkali metals. So it is going to be more harder and it is going to be lighter than other alkali metals. Then number 2, it is not affected by air. Because of its less reactivity, it is going to be not affected by air, which means that it does not catch fire when it is exposed to air. Right? Whereas when we are talking of sodium and potassium, they easily catch fire when they are exposed to air. So this has less reactivity, that is why, because of the strong metallic bonding which it has. Then it reacts slowly with water. Rest of them, they react very vigorously with water. This is going to react slowly with water to liberate hydrogen. Okay? It is going to very slowly react with water to liberate hydrogen. Then it does not react with oxygen below 0 degrees Celsius. It does not react with oxygen below 0 degree Celsius. Again, this shows that the reactivity that is going to be less. Now over here we've already seen that lithium, it only forms monoxides. We've already discussed this. It does not form, it is not going to form peroxides, and it is not going to form superoxides like sodium and rest of the elements. Because of small size of lithium, it is only able to form monoxides. Now over here it is seen that it is the only metal which is going to directly react with, it is the only metal which directly reacts with nitrogen to form the respective nitride, which is lithium nitride. Okay? And then the salts of lithium, for example, if we are taking lithium carbonate that is going to be less stable, and on heating it can very easily liberate carbon dioxide with respect to rest of the carbonates of the family. Okay. Now it is also seen when we are taking lithium nitrate. Lithium nitrate, when decomposes, it decomposes in a different manner than rest of the members of the family. So we are taking lithium nitrate on heating, that is going to give us lithium monoxide, plus it will give us nitrogen dioxide, plus it is going to give us oxygen, right? Whereas if we are talking of nitrates of other members of the family, for example, we are taking sodium nitrate over here, that is going to dissociate to give us sodium nitrite plus oxygen. So there is a difference in reaction on decomposition of lithium nitrate and other nitrates of the family. Okay? Then when we are talking of lithium sulfate, it is seen that lithium sulfate is the only alkali metal sulfate which does not form double salt. So these are the type of questions which can come to you in the competition. Okay, so lithium sulfate is the only sulfate of the family which does not form double salts, right? And then lithium hydroxide is a weaker base then sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide, right? So this is going to be a weaker base. So these are the differences. Then we come to another very important point when we are going to discuss the alkali metals and alkaline earth metals, which is known as the diagonal relationship of lithium with magnesium. Diagonal relationship of lithium with magnesium, right? It is seen that there are many properties in which lithium and magnesium, they are going to be same. So in general we say that there are certain members or certain elements of the second group, right? There are certain elements of the second group which show similarities with the elements of the third period of the next group. So in general we can say that if you're talking of the periodic table over here, let's say we have lithium, sodium, potassium, beryllium, magnesium, calcium, okay? Then we have boron, aluminium and gallium. Let's only talk of these few elements in the periodic table. It is seen that the first member of the first group that has similarities with the second member of the next consecutive group. So lithium and magnesium, it is going to have similarities. Similarly, when we are talking of beryllium and aluminium also seem to have certain similarities. This is known as diagonal relationship. Now what is going to be the cause of this similarity over here? The cause of this similarity is that when we are traveling from lithium to beryllium, the size that is going to decrease. Okay? And when we are going from beryllium to magnesium, the size that is going to increase. So as a result, lithium and magnesium, they have almost same values of atomic radius and ionization energies. In a similar manner, if we are talking of beryllium and we are talking of aluminium over here, so beryllium to boron, again size that is going to decrease, and when from boron to aluminium the size is going to increase. So beryllium and aluminium, both of them, they are going to share the same sizes and same value of ionization energies. We can very well understand this by taking the figurative, you can say, values of certain properties. For example, when we are talking of atomic radius of lithium, as I said that the atomic radius of lithium and magnesium, that is going to be same. So over here it is 152 picometers, and when we go on to magnesium, it is going to be 160 picometers. So there is not much of a difference in sizes. Okay? So both they have almost same electronegativities. When we talking of electronegativities over here, in this case we see that lithium that has an electronegativity of 1, whereas magnesium that has a electronegativity value of 1.2. So that is also almost the same. Then thirdly, it is seen, these are the similarities which we are discussing between lithium and magnesium. It is seen that both they are going to be hard. Both lithium and magnesium, they are quite hard. Okay? Then number 4, both lithium hydroxide and magnesium hydroxide are weak bases. Okay? Both of them, they are going to be weak bases. Both form nitrides of the type pure nitrides, or in other words we can say both directly combined with nitrogen. These are the only metals in the first and the second group which directly combines with nitrogen to form pure nitrides. जैसे lithium it forms Li3n, and magnesium it is going to form Mg3n2, right? So these are pure nitrides which are formed by both. Now both they are going to combine with oxygen to give us only monoxides. Neither lithium nor magnesium, they are going to form superoxides and peroxides. They are only going to form monoxides. Then the carbonates of both these metals, they dissociate to give carbon dioxide. So if you're doing the decomposition of lithium carbonate, this is going to give us Li2O plus carbon dioxide. In a similar manner, if we are taking magnesium carbonate, it is going to give us magnesium oxide plus carbon dioxide. Okay? So both are going to give us carbon dioxide on heating. Then when we are talking of chlorides, it is seen that chloride of lithium, which is taken as lithium chloride, LiCl, and chloride of magnesium, both of these, they are going to be deliquescent in nature. Right? That means that both of them, they are going to have water of crystallization. So it is seen that lithium chloride that exists as LiCl.2H2O and magnesium chloride that exists as MgCl2.8H2O. So both of them, they are going to be deliquescent in nature. Okay? And also both lithium and magnesium chloride, they are going to be soluble in ethanol rather than in water. Whereas you know that NaCl and KCl, all of them, they are going to be soluble in water. The chlorides of lithium chloride, of lithium and magnesium, they are going to be soluble in ethanol rather than in water. Okay? Now when we are talking of nitrates over here, both are going to react in a similar manner to liberate nitrogen dioxide as the reaction which we have just done. Okay? So we are talking of lithium nitrate. When this is going to be heated, the products form, that is going to be lithium monoxide plus nitrogen dioxide plus oxygen. In a similar manner, if we are taking over here magnesium nitrate, it is going to give us magnesium oxide plus nitrogen dioxide plus oxygen. Formula इसका कर लिखा आपने. Plus oxygen. ठीक है? So both of them is nitrogen balanced over here. 2 2s are 4 होना चाहिए ना. Now it is balanced. Both of them, they are going to give us a brown gas which is nitrogen dioxide. ठीक है? So this is what the diagonal relationship is. Let's just go on to the general uses of alkali metals. So we are going to talk of uses, and we will talk of uses of all the metals. The first one which we will discuss, that is lithium, right? Now lithium, that is used in the manufacture of various alloys. There are many alloys because we know that lithium is hard. So in order to give hardness to the metals, they are generally used in the manufacture of various alloys. For example, when we are talking of one alloy which is the alloy of lithium and magnesium, this alloy that is going to be very, very hard and corrosion resistant. These are the two properties which it has. So it is used for armor plates. Armor plates, they are used in wars. ठीक है? And they are, this is also used in aerospace components. ठीक है? Because of its hardness, it is used in these two things. Then we have another alloy of lithium and lead. This is more commonly known as the white metal. ठीक है? This is used for making toughened bearings. Right? This is used for ball bearings which are used, and it is also used for sheets of cables. So जिससे cables बनाए जाते हैं, because of its tough nature, it can be used to make this. Then we have another alloy of lithium and aluminium which is used in manufacture of aircraft parts, again due to the tough nature. Okay? Then second we have is, this is the three alloys which are present, which have certain importances. Then we have lithium that is used in refining of copper and nickel because of its high reducing properties. We know that lithium, that is at the bottom of the periodic table, so it is going to be a good reducing agent. So it can be used for the refining of copper and nickel. ठीक है? Then it is also used to produce thermonuclear energy. ठीक है? It is also used to produce thermonuclear energy. Lithium carbonate, that is used for making tough glass, right? It is going to be used in making tough glass, which is weatherproof and it is very, very strong, right? In a similar manner, when we are using lithium chloride, this is used in air conditioners, to regulate humidity. Lithium chloride that is used in air conditioning plants to regulate humidity. Then lithium hydride that is used to generate hydrogen. It is used to generate hydrogen for meteorological purposes, for the weather balloons. Okay, for that lithium hydrogen that is going to be used. Then we have lithium hydroxide. Which is used to absorb carbon dioxide from the exhaled air. Right, so submarines and space vehicles where there is going to be less oxygen which is present and more carbon dioxide, because the people who are present in submarines and spacecrafts, they exhale carbon dioxide. So that carbon dioxide cannot be eliminated anywhere. For that lithium hydroxide that is going to be used, it has a tendency to absorb carbon dioxide. Okay? Then lithium bromide, it is used as a sedative in medicines. Lithium bromide that is going to be used as a sedative in medicines. And then we have, which you have been doing, lithium aluminium hydride. You know where it is used. It is used as a reducing agent. Okay? So these are the uses of lithium. Let's go on to the uses of sodium. Uses of sodium. When we are doing the uses of sodium, we know that sodium and mercury amalgam that is used for the preparation of many organic compounds. Okay? Then liquid sodium that is going to be used as a coolant. In nuclear reactors. Right? Then number 3, sodium is used to prepare tetraethyl lead, which is used as an anti-knocking reagent in the vehicles. 10. Okay? Then sodium is used in sodium vapor lamps. That is going to be used in sodium vapor lamps. Right? Then sodium is also used in the very, very important Lasane's extract for estimation of halides, nitrogen and sulfur. Okay, so this is a Lasane's extract which we will do further in our organic chemistry of +1, that how we are going to form Lasane's extract. Then next we have, this is used in the manufacture of many compounds like NaNH2, sodium cyanide, which can be further used for the manufacture of fertilizers. Right? Then this is also used for the extraction of boron and silicon. Okay? Now over here it is used as a reagent in certain organic reactions, for example in Bode's reaction, for the synthesis of some organic compounds. Okay? And then it is used in the industry for production of artificial rubber. Right? Then we come to the uses of potassium. When we're doing the uses of potassium that is used as a fertilizer in agriculture. Okay? Then it is over here you can see that when we're talking of KCl specifically, KCl that is used as a fertilizer. Then we have KOH. KOH that is used in the manufacture of soft soap, right? It is used in the manufacture of soft soap. Then we have potassium nitrate, which is used in color TV tubes. This is the material which is going to be used in the color TV tubes, and also in fluorescent lights, also KNO3 that is going to be used. So these are a few uses of sodium, potassium and lithium, which are the important members. Then you also know that potassium that is used in photovoltaic cell, and same is the case with cesium that is also used in the photovoltaic cells, right? So now we have to do certain compounds of sodium which we need to discuss, but that we will only discuss in our next class. So with that we finish our S block. Okay?